2019 is the year I pledged to play through the Castlevania franchise and record my journey through these vlogs, culminating in one big video review at the end. Here's entry 2, which looks at my run through the Castlevania Adventures on Game Boy. Welcome back to the Castlevania Diaries. This is the second entry in the vlog, and today we're going to be talking about Castlevania Adventures. The Castlevania Adventures that came out on the Game Boy back in 1980. Let me check. 1989. So I know last time at the end of the first entry of the vlog, I said I would be going to Castlevania 3 after Castlevania, and I did, and I finished the game. However, as I said, part of my rules is I have to play all of the content in a game, and because Castlevania 3 has a bunch of branching paths and different characters to play as, I need to go through that game again and do all the other paths I didn't choose. So that's still on a back burner. So we're gonna have to talk about the Adventures of Castlevania. The Castlevania Adventures, that's what it's called. And I have to say, I liked it. It's a really good game. So it was on the Game Boy. I played on the TV, of course, through the Konami Castlevania Collection game. And it was pretty good. It was a short game. So using save states, I was thankfully able to finish it in just 1 hour, so it's not too bad. But I know if I did not have save states and a lot of patience, I probably could have done it in maybe 2, maybe 3 hours. Honestly, the game, I feel, was a little bit more fair than all the Castlevania games I've played so far, which includes 1 and 3, really. It's a lot more basic. It's a lot more stripped down. There's only 4 levels, so I knew that this, could be done in a very quick sprint. 4 bosses. The bosses feel a lot more fair. I feel you've got a more, a more predictable pattern that you can actually figure out. The game also plays around on more platforming focus without just ridiculous, crazy enemy placement. I understand that they had to focus more on platforming than enemy placement because of the limitations of the Game Boy. They could only have so many enemies on screen. I think there's one part where I had 3 enemies on screen and everything just came to a screeching halt because the game back then would have struggled on the Game Boy. Other things I like about the game is the fact that your whip can shoot fire when it's fully upgraded. Now, I think that runs out after a while from what I've read. I wouldn't know because I always got hit and then I lose my power up, and that's something I don't like. So I don't like that the fact. So in the NES games, when you get hit, you just take damage. Whereas in this one, when you get hit, well, you take damage, but also you lose your whip upgrade, so it punishes you even more. So that's not really cool. I don't like that. But there is a pretty big difference between the base whip and the fully powered up whip. So I guess, they had to balance it. Also in this game, there's no color for one, but I didn't really miss it that much. Color's overrated anyways. There's no sub weapons. So that's something else that honestly I did not miss that much. I'm pretty traditional in the sense that I just like using the whip to hit everything. So the fact that we didn't have a sub weapon in this one was fine. There seems to be a lot more. Oh, and actually, I think it's in this one that the hearts, I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure the hearts actually refill your health. I'm doing all this through memory and I didn't write any notes down, so pardon me if I'm wrong on anything. So I do like that there are more health pickups than the NES Castlevania games. You're not looking for turkeys and walls. Enemies will just drop health pickups, which is great. The bosses were fun. Most of the gameplay was fun. Some of the platforming was a little bit tedious. Everything, the controls feel even more stiff than the NES, which is pretty crazy to say because the controls on the NES were pretty stiff. I remember there's a part I had to do some platforming and you have to literally move off the platform until the very last pixel of your boot's touching so that you can make the jump. So you got that crazy platforming mechanic from the old days. Playing this on a TV was really good. If I would have had to play this on a Game Boy with no backlight, oh my god, I think I would have hated this game. But the fact that I was playing on a modern console and I had save states, it was an enjoyable experience. Nothing felt unfair, except the very last Dracula boss. That one, I couldn't find a proper way. So he has 2 stages, right? And then when he turns into the bat, he's a little harder. The base Dracula is actually pretty easy to fight. I was surprised that I could actually fight him without necessarily using too many save states. But when he transforms into the bat, then you can only hit him from one angle, but maneuvering around him is just really difficult with the controls, and I often got hit because of that. So that's the only thing that really felt unfair. It was pretty clever. There was some new interesting mechanics. I did like that there was this one level. You know, I didn't really like playing it during the time, but I did like the idea of this whole auto-scrolling level, which was very different from all my other Castlevania experiences. Basically, the level like forces you to run right, then up, then left, then down. Maybe not down, but it did force you to go, and although it kind of dragged on a little bit longer than I'd like. That's another thing. There's a timer in these games, which I don't understand the appeal of them. Of course, all the old games used to have timers. You know, it's a feature from the arcade world, I think, so that people could get more quarters out of you, just like lives. But it felt really unnecessary. Like, they gave a lot of time. Although that could have played a factor if I didn't have save states. Maybe the time limit just adds that much more difficulty to this entire game. But overall, it's a good game. I enjoyed it. Lore-wise, you know, it's a lot weaker. Back in those days, all the lore was in the game manual. So if you didn't read it, you didn't really know what was going on. In this one, you're basically just fighting the 4 things of darkness, and then you fight Dracula, and of course you see his castle destroyed at the end. It was a quickie, a nice little quickie to tide me over between Castlevanias. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, the music. The music is completely bland and boring. I don't remember anything about it. Still think Castlevania 1 on the NES has the best music so far out of the 3 Castlevania games I played. But I think I've covered everything. Overall, it was a pretty fun experience. Oh, and we got like rolling eyeballs too in this game, so that's different. I thought those were cool. I'd love to see some rolling eyeballs in color, and I think there is, because I've heard this game was remade for the Game Boy Advance, if I remember right, and I heard that one was really good, and they added a few mechanics. So I'm adding that to my list because I did not have that on my list. I will be adding some Game Boy Advance ports, and also I think there's a few Castlevania games on there that I'm going to be trying out. But from here, I'm going to be going back to Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, which I've already started a little bit. I don't know which one's going to be coming next in the vlog, if it's going to be Castlevania 3 after I do all of the secondary gameplay, or if it's going to be Castlevania 2. I don't know which one, because right now it's Castlevania 2, and if I can do that all in one run, that one's going to be coming out. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for joining me on my adventure through Castlevania. Take care.